What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another topsy-turvy day in the world of Malamarkets, where we discuss the Pokemon trading card game market as it relates to buying and selling and trading cards. And yes, I know I haven't done an in-depth market analysis in a while, but today is the day. We are going to be discussing XY evolutions. Now, with the news that there have been some reprinted ETBs, or restocked, I should say, coming out in Walmart in the the last week and maybe in the next couple weeks too, I thought it would be a good idea to check in on our dear old friend XY Evolutions and see how both the booster boxes and the Elite Trainer boxes have been performing over time. We'll talk about the set as a whole, how we track value as a whole in this set, and of course, why the set is valuable, what's been going on in the last calendar year, and then what we think will actually happen to these sealed products, not singles, moving forward. Now, of course, naturally, if you can find one of these ETBs at market price, buy them all, buy them immediately, buy as many as you can. Of course, though, that really is not going to be realistic for most of us. So today we're going to talk about the market price. Is buying either an ETB sealed, of course, for the Charizard or Blastoise variety, and of the booster box variety, are those going to be a good investment today if you get them at market price? Now, of course, I am not a financial advisor. Don't take this as financial advice, just my opinion and my observations of how this product is doing. And of course, there's going to be a lot of heavy data and a lot of analysis in here. So if you have to pause as we go through the video, feel free to pause. I tried to make it as quick as possible, but without further ado, let's get into the numbers.
Really quickly before we dive in right here, we're going to talk a little bit about what makes a collectible valuable so we're on the same page. I won't go into too much detail because we've gone over this in other videos, but essentially it comes down to four things. Popularity, obviously how popular something is. Scarcity, how hard it is to find, how much or how little it was printed for whatever reason. Condition, is it minty fresh or is it a piece of crap like half the Pokemon cards we didn't take care of when we were growing up? And of course, nostalgia, which is a blend of how long something's been around and the emotional feelings and how much it draws us back to our childhood and things of that nature, with the ultimate combination being some mix of all four of these things. Now, XY Evolutions was released in November of 2016, basically as an accessible reprint of the original base set. Of course, you'll see a couple Charizards here, that always helps, but essentially this is about, 6-7 years old at this point, and it was a reprint of the original base set. You'll actually recognize some of these cards on here. You see Kakuna, Charmeleon, Charmander, some of those original cards, and of course with some holos like the Mewtwo, Ninetales, Raichu, Zapdos. If you've been playing Pokemon as long as I have, you will definitely recognize the artwork on these cards. So that's why this set is super, super popular and super nostalgic, because it has that childhood hit of all of these cards we pulled back in the day. Now, as far as how expensive stuff is, you can kind of see here the most expensive card is the reprint of the base set Charizard, going right now per TCG player at $49. There are also 156,000 plus cards at PSA. This is the third highest population set next to base set and Hidden Fates of Pokemon cards at PSA, which is insane. Now, of course, the primary chase card is this Charizard right here, the original base set Charizard reprint, of course. There are 22,000 almost graded at PSA, which is insane. This is the second most carded graded at PSA, and because it's so hard to get a 10 in these cards are actually really valuable, less than 2% of them there. Right now it's about $2,000 for a PSA 10, but during the pandemic it was selling for around $4K. So there's a little bit of top end value, even if individual singles in the set are not that valuable. And just so you know too, for reference, so you can see how popular this set is, the most graded card at PSA is actually the original 1999 base set Charizard, of which this is a reprint. So where does that leave us on the scale? Super popular, super nostalgic. Condition will go with meh, because it's still a pretty modern set. And scarcity, this set was overprinted to the max, as we'll get into here in a little bit. So looking at the booster box, and we'll do the ETBs next, but you can see here from the booster box that essentially we've got $931 average price going all the way back to April of last year, dropping down now to $727 today. This is about a negative 22% year over year decrease. Plus, as you can see by the other graph at the bottom, they're dropping sales volume too. That makes sense, obviously, because this has been out of print for a while and they're not really reprinting booster boxes. But on the plus side, though, you can see in July of last year, it was also about the same average price. So you can see steady price for about 8 months now. So unlike the rest of the market, though this did dip a lot initially, 22%, it really has not dipped that much, 22% in the last year, I should say. It has not dipped much since then, which is actually a pretty good sign for this. Let's get into the ETBs now, starting first with the Charizard ETB. This actually dropped as well. So you can see back in March of last year, it dropped from 231 to March of this year to about 203 for the average price. Naturally, of course, retail is well below that. I believe retail for this is around $40 or $50. So that's a 12% year-over-year decrease. It was probably around that range before then too. But similarly to the booster box, actually, which is a good sign here, the July price, so the last 8 months or so, is about the same as it is today. It's basically been a pretty steady product in terms of, how safe it is if you got something around market price then, even though obviously if you bought before that, the price has dropped since then. And we actually are going to see the same pattern here with the Blastoise box, the blue Elite Trainer box here. Again, a little bit lower because obviously Charizard carries more of a premium over the Blastoise, and the ETBs, keep in mind, are much more for a showy collectible kind of item than, ripping. That's why most people keep these sealed. But this also had an 11% year-over-year decrease, and again, with dropping sales volume too, which makes sense as these have mostly been out of print, even though now the trainer boxes at least have been printed a little bit. And again, same trend here. It's been holding steady for the last 8 months, which to me is a good sign and shows how popular this set is, because even though the prices have dropped as the whole market dropped, there's still going to be a lot of top-end value here and top-end reasons why people want them. So let's look at everything as a whole. Obviously out of print, even though the ETBs are getting a small reprint now, clearly pick those up at retail if you can. But all of these have been steady for the last 8 months. These are highly, highly popular. The third most graded set, and a little bit of a dip here we should see based on the reprint of the ETBs. We kind of saw that with Unbroken Bonds recently as well, when a little bit of those dropped on PokemonCenter.com within the last 6 months or so. So I would expect a little bit of a dip here with the repeat, but if you can get the total cost, including shipping, taxes, all that kind of stuff, below these market prices, I would definitely buy the restock of the ETBs and the dip there. The booster boxes, it remains to be seen if there will be a dip or not. But again, if you can get a great price below market price, these have been holding steady, and I'm not sure how much more they'll drop in the future, despite the fact that it's highly printed, and despite the fact that if you open it, chances are you're not pulling a perfect 10 Charizard, you're gonna lose money. But if you're patient, there's a great chance that these go up again. Even before the 900 level, the booster boxes were going over $1,000 for sure. I do think we'll get back up to those levels again in the next 3 to 5 years. Naturally, of course, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion, but keep in mind that this is an accessible, more affordable way for people to pull a base set Charizard. If you don't care about the money investment and are looking strictly for ripping it to get that Zard, and that's the cheaper Zard that you can pull fresh, this is exactly why people want these products and continue to rip these products and even buy individual packs from sellers on Whatnot, eBay, all of that fun stuff. So based on all of that, I do think we're getting to a point where this is going to be a Malamarket's buy rating again, even though it's super widely printed. Just my opinion, but definitely let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to chat more about it further. Thanks a lot for checking us out, and I will see you on the next one. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this and all of our future videos if you want to see more market analysis like this and future pack openings.